On today's show, we've got a strategy-packed episode where we give you top strategies from experts around the world and bring you up to date on brand new, exciting features to Helium 10. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the Amazon or Walmart world. And we've got tons of serious strategies here because this is the recap that we do once a month of our BBL or our Bigger, Better launch. And this month, being Community Month, we wanted to put together a lot of hard-hitting strategies from people who have been on this podcast and also who are speakers at the Sell and Scale Summit coming up in September. So let's go ahead and hop right into some of these strategies. But don't forget, we've also have some super exciting announcements on things that we have launched here at Helium 10 in the last few weeks that I think you guys are going to get excited about as well. So I'm going to recap some of those and explain like how best you can use it in your Amazon or Walmart business. So first up, let's go ahead and give a strategy that was from Destiny with Sean. You know, you guys know her from Better AMS, and her strategy goes like this. She says, well, do you want to maximize the reach and sales of the deals that you're running? Create ads specifically curated to drive traffic during the time of your deal. So most people, she says, don't realize that you can actually customize your ads to best promote your coupons, discounts, and deals. You're going to want to copy your top performing sponsored brand campaigns. And then she says you need to change the start and end dates of this copied campaign with the deal that you're running. And then adjust your ad copy to highlight your promotion. So like, let's say you're doing a deal of the day or best deals or something like that. You adjust your bids and your targeting to drive more volume. All right. Most people don't realize, she said, that it's actually illegal to have sales copy in your sponsored brand ads. So the key is having your campaign fall within the start and end date of your deals. So these steps can help maximize traffic by giving customers a more enticing reason to click into the ads. You know, who doesn't want discounted products? So kind of like in summary of this strategy that she had is, hey, you got some great sponsored brand campaigns, go ahead and copy it. But now you're making like a special campaign to like start and end in conjunction with like, a lightning deal or deal of the day or a 7-day deal or something like that. And then have like some copy on that ad specifically for that deal. I think that's a great one. All right, the next strategy is actually from Kevin King himself. And he said, now, if your product is giftable for a birthday or wedding anniversary, for example, consider running Facebook ads and choose the audience friends of. He said, when you type that into the Facebook audience selection tool for a new ad that you're setting up, you'll see a list of things, for example, friends of women who are getting married or friends of men who have a birthday this month, and so on. These can be highly effective for generating sales on Amazon or Walmart for your product if you have something people might want to give as a gift and your ad speaks to them. So, who is this for? Maybe this is not like if you're having a widget or something like that, or a Samsung replaceable filter. That's not really a giftable product. You can't use this. But, maybe you have a coffin shelf and you got an aunt or uncle or brother or something who's into Gothic decor. Maybe it's like, hey, friends or gifts for friends who like, spooky things or something like that, or have a birthday in October, or, you could do things like that. And I didn't realize this because I personally don't run Facebook ads myself. So I thought that was interesting. Try and use this technique in order to drum up some business off of Amazon. And again, the key is sending that off Amazon traffic to Amazon, that everybody, that Amazon definitely loves. The next strategy is from Burak Yoga from Foresket. We've had him here on the podcast multiple times, or at least once, and then once in the Weekly Buzz, I think. But here's his strategy. This was one of the top favorite ones from people on the Bigger, Better launch webinar. He says, one of the biggest expenses for Amazon FBA sellers is international freight costs. Did you know that there's a way you can save up to 20% on shipping costs? Many elements affect international freight costs, such as a supplier location in China, transit time, shipping methods, etc. Shipping to Amazon FBA warehouses on the West Coast can be 20% cheaper than on the East Coast. So you need to deliver your products to West Coast warehouses if possible. Now, this is the way to do it, he says. It's like your ship from address. Instead of putting that as your China or India, factory location, use an address that's close to a warehouse in California, one of the Amazon FBA warehouses. And then the thought is that Amazon might be more inclined to have you actually deliver the products to that close by warehouse as opposed to like sending it cross country. So, the snapshot below that you guys can hopefully see here is one of the ones where they did that. They put in an address here in Newark, California, and sure enough, Amazon chose the Stockton, California address or warehouse in order to send it. He says this is something that can actually save you up to 20% on shipping if you use this method. So imagine if you have like, a $10,000 container or something, instead of paying $10,000, you would be paying only $8,000. There's one strategy that can instantly save you a lot of money. So pretty cool strategy there. All right, let's keep these strategies going. Another popular one was from Tomer Rabinovich. All right, so this strategy, he's like, hey, there's some products sometimes that Helium 10 doesn't have information on for sales estimate in X-ray, because maybe there's no parent level BSR or things like that. And he says there's a couple ways to estimate how much they sell. One of the ways is go to the product subcategory and see its position. You could see that on the product page itself, right? And then let's assume that it's in the top 100. So like maybe it's like the top 10 or something like that. Well, what's going to happen is maybe that number 10, it doesn't have a sales estimate by Helium 10, but maybe some other products on that page do, like the first one or the 9th one or the 11th one. If you have the 9th and 11th, you almost know the exact average daily sales that potentially it's making. Now, how you would know that is by running X-ray on the actual BSR page. Many people don't realize. They think that you can only run the Chrome extension X-ray on the product page or on search results. No, you can actually enter it on the BSR page. So that's a way that you can kind of estimate the sales there. Now, let's say that there's a product, he says, that doesn't have this BSR. There's no way you can do it. Well, another way, he says, is you can divide 2% by the reviews generated from the last 90 days. So one thing that there is information on the X-ray is the reviews that they've gotten over time. So you would use X-ray, you can download that or just look at the review velocity or just look at the history of reviews and then take the number of reviews generated in the last 90 days and divide 2% by it. And then you do the same thing, but divide it by 5%. Is what he says, because he said most products, their review velocity compared to sales is between 2% to 5%. So if you have those two numbers, you can kind of guesstimate how many sales they have done in the last 90 days. So that's a pretty cool strategy right there. All right, this next strategy is from Janelle Page. She's been on this podcast and was a favorite guest of ours. She says, I always include CrossSells in my main carousel. Not everybody's going to scroll down to the A+ content, which already has a great cross-sell grid that you should be taking advantage of. She says that to ensure shoppers see all of the products in her catalog, she makes sure that she includes an image that shows complementary products or hypes a new product recently recently launched. She would even call out promos or coupons on the image to increase the likelihood that they go check it out. Now, she said that, hey, this maybe doesn't sound revolutionary, but she's shocked how many brands don't take advantage of the opportunity to cross-sell their other products on their listings. And this is especially powerful if you have a high traffic or bestseller ASIN. So she's leveraged this strategy on new product launches with great success. And she'll just add her product, the new product, as a cross-sell in the main image storyboard, as well as target her own listing with sponsored display ads under the buy box and bullet points with a 50% off coupon. And then she's on her way. So you can take a look at some of these examples where it's like these are product images. It says for more bone health support, find these products. And then so what's going to happen is they're going to buy or they're going to search like Solaray, magnesium, potassium, aspartate. I'm not sure how to read this word here, but you see, you're going to get like some residual rank juice as well if people are searching for that word, even though they have the brand name in there. And then here's another one, say more from this company. And, for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, you can't see what I'm showing on YouTube, but these are some examples of how you can use this strategy. All right, the next strategy is from somebody who's no stranger to the podcast, Mina Elias. And this is about PPC, obviously. So his strategy is, hey, when you are launching products that have child variations, like, for example, different flavors, different colors, sizes, etc., to figure out which one you need to run the ads for first, do some campaigns like auto, the main keywords, broad and phrase match as well if you want, and let it run for a few weeks. Now you're targeting like all of the different child items, right? Then what you do is if you have Atomic, you can just look at this in the reports, or you have to download the reports from Amazon if you don't have a tool like Atomic. And then you want to look at all of the clicks, impressions, spend, and sales for each of the variations. If you don't have Atomic, you're going to have to use like a pivot table or something there. So hopefully you know how to do that in Excel. And then you're going to manually calculate like the click-through rate and ACoS and identify which of the variations are the top performers. All right. So this is especially helpful because the ACoS is not always the same across the board when you have variations. Like maybe you've got a pink, a purple, and a green, but on the pink, your ACoS is like 5%, your click-through rate is really high, but on the purple and green, they're really low. Well, what does that mean? Well, according to Mina, what you should do now is once you have this data, now you start a standalone campaign, not targeting all of the child items, but targeting only the best performer for the certain keyword or keywords. And then this is going to take out some maybe useless impressions that you might get where customers are not interested in that product. Now, another one that we have here, this is from Rich Goldstein, another speaker at Sell and Scale Summit. And he says that, sometimes you might see a product with a patent number, but he says, don't just take it for granted. Always look up the patent to find out if it's expired. An expired patent, actually, it's not like, hey, my Netflix subscription expired, let me go renew it. You cannot renew an expired patent. But what happens is many manufacturers and sellers, they keep marking their product as having a patent, but it really doesn't have one because it expired. So if that's the case, then it's possible for you to go ahead and do a product very similar to that, and you are not in violation of any patents at all. One quick note, all of these speakers that gave these strategies, guys, and I've got a couple more that I gave as well. But all of these ones, they all are speakers at the Sell and Scale Summit that's coming up in September 19th to 22nd. So I just came back from the $1 Billion Seller Summit, talked to people there from all over the world who are coming. A pair from the UK, some from Brazil, Romania. Even people right there in Las Vegas are going. So guys, I want to see all of you there at Sell and Scale Summit. So make sure to use the discount code that we give here on this podcast, S3BS100, S3BS100 to save $100 off of your ticket. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the new launches that came up for Helium 10 in the last few weeks. Now, some of these you might not have access to yet, depending on when you are watching this. But for others, you might already be able to, if you're watching this in September, probably all of these are good to go. So now the first thing that I want to talk about is a brand new Helium 10 Amazon PPC Academy. This is free for all subscribers right now, but probably it's going to be locked to Diamond and above sometime in September or October, right? But right now, as if you're watching this, unless you're watching this in 2023, this is free for all subscribers, all right? A very extensive course on PPC done by Vince Montero here at Helium 10 and also Mina Elias, who we heard from earlier. Overall, there are over 30 different videos and training modules in here. If you're watching this really fast when we launch this podcast, might not all be up yet, but if you're listening to this on September 1st or later, all of the modules are there. So really in-depth, A to Z. It's not just about how to use Helium 10 Atomic. That's actually only a small part of this course, but it's just no matter what tool you're using, or even if you're not using tools, it's going to help you really optimize your PPC. So if you guys want to, sign up to take this course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see a QR code you can hit right there. But if you're listening to this on the podcast, just write this down, h10.me, and h10.me/PPC Academy, h10.me/PPC Academy. And then it's just really important you enter in your email address that you use to sign up for, or that you use to log into Helium 10. So use your email address that you use to log into Helium 10, and then it will go ahead and send you out. It'll activate it, and then you can just hop in there by hitting Freedom Ticket inside of Helium 10, just on your dashboard. You hit Freedom Ticket, and you'll see this course right there next to your Freedom Ticket courses. Now, if you're not a Helium 10 member at all, you're a free user, you don't have a Helium 10 account, no problem. You can get access to it for now by going to that same link, h10.me/PPC Academy. And then what you're going to want to do is click on the register. You enter whatever email address you want, and they'll send you an email confirmation on how to activate a brand new account. Speaking of Atomic, we have another feature coming, something that a lot of sellers have been asking for, and that's bulk edits or bulk uploads. All right. So like, let's say you've got tons of, campaigns, and you're just like, hey, I just want to set them all to a certain budget or something like that. Or perhaps, hey, I want to do an action like, hey, all of these targets that are on this page, I want to set the bid to a certain amount. Well, elite members now can do that in Academy, and then soon the Diamond members are going to be able to do that as well. We also have a couple new updates for Listing Analyzer. We've been probably launching something for Listing Analyzer every month, it seems, in BBLs or bigger, better launches. But this time, the one for Listing Analyzer, it's actually pretty cool because we are showing now your own product. So what you can do on the main page is actually select, if you have your Helium 10 account connected to your Amazon account, you can select one of your own products that you can just import right into Listing Analyzer. Now you might be wondering, what's the benefit of doing that? Well, if you do that, now the second page, instead of going right into the listing analysis, you're going to get a chart of all of the actual sales. This is not sales estimates, but this is your actual sales because, we've got that information if you connected Helium 10 to your account. And then in addition, any alerts you've gotten on this ASIN, throughout history, like let's say, a title changed, or let's say you had a new 5-star review, or your image changed, whatever happened in alerts, it's actually going to go ahead and transfer right into this chart's history in Listing Analyzer. So how can this help you? Well, let's say you got like 3 bad reviews on one day. Well, I don't know about you, but for me, I'd be curious, well, is this affecting my sales after that? So you'll see on this chart in Listing Analyzer exactly when you got those 3 bad reviews, and then you could see if the sales after that day compared to before is the same, or if sales actually went down. Same thing for like, maybe you put a new title and you want to see how that affected your sales. It's really, really cool what this can do. In addition, another new chart is coming up in Listing Analyzer where you can see the BSR history of the parent category. And this is regardless if it's your product or your competitor's product. The first one that you pick, you're going to be able to see the BSR history. But not only that, for the first time ever inside of Helium 10, you are going to be able to see the history of the subcategory BSR. Something that you guys have been asking for. It's like, okay, great. I'm at BSR, 100,000 in a home and kitchen, but what am I at in the floating shelves category, for example? So this is super, super cool, guys. You can use this right now. It's available for Platinum and above. Make sure to try out the new Listing Analyzer and let me know what you guys think of it. Now, who remembers a few months ago when we caused a lot of waves when we launched that new tool, Inventory Heat Map? So basically it's like a heat map of where your inventory is stored in the United States. All right, this is super cool. It allows you to see like, man, my sales in a certain area are kind of low. Why is that? Well, look at this inventory heat map. I can see that, that there's almost no inventory I have for this product in this area, right? So that's a very popular tool. If you haven't used it yet, make sure to get in there. But now, because of this, we are now going to be launching in the next couple of weeks the sales heat map. So you're gonna be able to see by like county and state or zip code a map of the United States, and then you'll see these color-coded kind of like blobs that focus on where most of your sales are. So something that this is like super cool because now you're going to be able to compare your inventory heat map to your sales heat map. There's so much that you guys can do with this. Like, for example, you're going to be able to download like a report of all the orders in a certain zip code or county or something. Well, what can you do with that information? Are you running Google ads for your product? Well, guess what? Now you'll know the zip codes or the counties or the cities that maybe you need to be focusing on in your Google ads because there's some abnormally high sales for there. Let's say you notice heavy sales in like the state of Florida or the state of New Hampshire or something. And it just so happens that you're trying to get into a brick and mortar chain of, small shops that are in one of those areas. Well, you're going to be able to print this out and show the brick and mortar chain like, hey, I want you guys to sell my product, but it's not just I think that people around here are interested. Look at this, my sales heat map. This is a hot area for sales of this coffin shelf. Everybody's a weirdo here in Florida. They all love coffins. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But if you show them this heat map, it could be potentially powerful. So this, guys, is super, super cool. Depending on when you're watching this, it's going to eventually be in your profits dashboard, wherever you have information like on your product performance and things like that. Sales heat maps, guys, compare it to your inventory heat maps and see what's going on. Now, the last tool I want to talk about that was just released is something that people have been asking us forever, and it is called the Search Expander. Now, this is probably going to be available by the time you're watching this video, so go ahead and you can see in your Chrome extension. What you do is you start typing in a string of letters or a word or words in the Amazon.com search bar, and then we're going to show you all kinds of additional information that you've never been able to see before unless you go into like Magnet or Cerebro or something. So for example, in this one I have here up on my screen, I have the word coffin. I didn't click anything, just have the word coffin, and then it's showing me all the search volumes for the Amazon suggestions. Like it says coffin shelf, it says suggestions, it says 10,300 searches. It's got the arrow right there showing me the search kind of velocity or the search volume trend compared to last month. The next thing it shows is related keywords. A little bit more on that, what related keywords are later. But it also shows what are the words, maybe they're not showing up in the Amazon autocomplete, but we have in our Magnet database, what are the top search words that start with the word that you just entered into the search bar? Like here it says coffin wallet, coffin backpack, coffin bag, right? And then what about the keywords that end with whatever word is here? All right. So let's say, for example, inflatable coffin, Halloween coffin, nail tips coffin. So now you see all the words that end with coffin. And then lastly, we have the Smart Complete, which, as you guys know in Magnet, it's kind of like looking at a broad match or phrase match PPC for a certain seed keyword. So you're going to find other keywords here, like we've got here, caskets and coffins for burial human. I mean, the keyword was coffin, but we realize, or we can detect what's, plural and singular forms of the word. And then we're going to show you different combinations of that word. Now, in addition to just the search volume, like I mentioned, you're going to be able to see the search volume trend, title density, and number of competing products. I mean, that title density is kind of super cool. Instantly, you're going to be able to do some product research on the page where like you're looking at a word that you put in the search bar, and you're going to see potentially 30 to 40 other keywords. And just by putting your mouse over it, you're going to be able to see what the title density is. Maybe you can find a keyword that has like 10,000 searches, but a title density of 2, meaning that only 2 listings on all of page 1 have that searched keyword in the title. You're going to be able to instantly now see this just by typing in a string of letters or words inside of Amazon. You don't even have to go over to Helium 10, the dashboard tool at all. This is super, super cool. I had mentioned the related searches or related keywords. If you sometimes go to a search on Amazon of a keyword, like for example, coffin or something, and you scroll to the very bottom, Amazon sometimes, not every time, gives you related searches. This is what Amazon says are the most common keywords that maybe were searched before or after somebody searches whatever you just searched. And now what we're doing, instead of having to go scroll all the way to the bottom, you can just go ahead and take a look at what these related keywords are, what the search volume is, etc. Because Helium 10 is pulling it up and it is pushing it to the top of the page so that you can see what Amazon actually suggest as the main keywords for this search term. All right, let's go over a couple more strategies, and then we'll close this out. So this is almost like my 30-second tips of the day. These ones are for me. Now, did you know that, Amazon actually tells you what are the most purchased items after the search of a keyword? Maybe you think, oh, well, isn't that what brand analytics shows? But yeah, but it's only going to show you the top 3 clicked, not necessarily the top 3 purchased, and it's a maximum of 3 anyways. But Amazon actually makes this data public. So what you do, go to any, on a desktop computer, go to any search term that's your main keyword that you want to look up, and then press enter. In the search results, pick any product that's an organic one, and then scroll to the bottom of the page. Once you do that, for example, I typed in coffin shelf, I picked a listing, scroll to the bottom, there's this widget that comes up that says customers who search for coffin shelf ultimately bought. And it is showing 20 products here that were all purchased after the search of coffin shelf. So this is amazing that Amazon is making this data public. And this is actually given in the order of the most sales for the keyword. I was able to do some analysis on this and determine that. So guys, this is a great method to see what are the top related keywords or what are the top related products that people are buying after the search of a keyword. And this is straight from the horse's mouth, directly from Amazon. Another strategy I wanted to talk about was new fields to index keywords. I talked a little bit about this in the Maldives honeymoon episode of 350, but special features, guys, this is what I brought out. This is what I classify as a super indexable field. And this is just a word I made up, super indexable. Obviously, it's not a real Amazon term. But I consider super indexable, like if you enter a keyword there and you're not indexed for it, and like within 20 minutes, you're indexed immediately. Not all fields in a Amazon listing are like that. Search terms used to be like that. Subject matter used to be like that. But, you change something sometimes on the title or the bullet points or the description, it'll take like a day or two or maybe even never to get indexed. But whenever I use the special features, it always gets indexed right away. And in addition, and this is why you actually can't keyword stuff on this, it actually takes what's in your special features line items and it puts it on the front end of your listing. In some categories, like this one here is from the home and kitchen category. It took this coffin shelf that I put in special features and hook for hanging included in special features, and it made a special line above the bullet points where it says special feature, and then it has both of those things with a comma separating it. So it actually brings it up and you get visibility on some feature of your product that's even higher than the bullet points. Another area that is coming, guys, this is coming to a listing near you, is secondary and tertiary, and whatever the word for fourth is, description fields. All right. Always in the past, the description on your Amazon listing is only one field, right? It's only like your bullet points or subject matter where you can like add more and add extra lines. But on description, it's always been one. And especially that's noteworthy nowadays because you can't do HTML like line breaks anymore, right? So it could be just a long cluster of words, right? But now you're going to be able to have different paragraphs because they have different description fields. I say that it's coming soon because it's not ready yet. A lot of your listings has this, but even if you edit it, it's not going to show up. I talked to Amazon about this. And they're like, they're not ready to roll this out. It's not going to be active yet. It's not indexed, but that's the whole point of this. This is going to be something cool for your copy in your listing if you don't have A+ content, but whether you have A+ content or not, I have always said, always fill out your description fields so that you can get some extra keyword real estate up in there. So that's what is coming to a listing near you, secondary product description. So go ahead and check that. Go into your listing, hit edit listing, go to the product details tab, and let me know, do you have an add more to the second line of your description where you can add it? If you do, let me know in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, and then also go in there and start filling it out so that once it does become active, you can be ready to go. All right, guys, that is it for this edition of the monthly Bigger, Better launch. I hope you guys enjoyed these new updates and the strategies. Let me know, what was your favorite strategy from one of the influencers that I gave? Let me know in the comments below. Which is your favorite release? Again, these releases, sign up for the Helium 10 PPC Academy, h10.me/academy, and then make sure to use the new listing analyzer functions. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And then also, of course, start using this new Chrome extension that will give you great keyword and product research not even with a click. It's not a one click. It's a 0-click feature, because you just start typing it into the Amazon search engine or the search bar, and you're going to be able to get this information. So I hope you guys have enjoyed what we have launched. Next, if you think this is crazy, wait until next month, guys. Next month, we are doing BBL from the showroom floor, the exhibitor floor at Sell and Scale Summit in Vegas. We're going to be broadcasting it in kind of like this ESPN style booth, and you guys are gonna be able to see it from home, but I hope to see you in person. Sale and Scale Summit, you can't watch from home. The only part you're gonna be able to watch is the bigger, better launch that we're gonna do, and we have some crazy launches that we saved for bigger, better launch in September and for the Sale and Scale Summit. And don't forget, guys, time is running out. VIP tickets almost sold out, might be sold out by the time you're watching this, so try and get your tickets now. h10.me/S3 and use the coupon code S3BS100. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one.